Alright guys, in this video we are going over the back of our intro to cell membrane notes. The first one we went over the front. Now we're going to look deeper into our two types of transport. So as we mentioned in the last video, we have active transport and we have passive transport. Okay, so we have to think about these words, active and passive. What do they mean? Well, to do something active is like I'm running. So that is obviously going to take energy. Now, to do something passive is more like I am here not using energy. I'm just going to put a no. So we are not using energy. Let's also go ahead and try to figure out just by looking at these pictures here, well, what is the difference in the concentrations? How are my molecules moving? So whenever you get a picture, I said you need to start by labeling each side as low or high concentration. I'm just going to write an L and an H. So looking over here, we'll look at this green side first. And my green molecules are the ones that are moving across. So over here, I have a low concentration because I have less of them. And this side of my membrane, we would say, has a high concentration. Take a look at our arrow. It tells me molecules are moving from the low side to the high side in using ATP. You should remember from our notes that ATP and energy are synonyms. Let's take a look at this second picture. Again, I have over here, I'm going to have the high side because I have more molecules. Over here, I have the low side. Take a look at my arrow. Molecules are moving that way from low to high. We should see a pattern here. In both of these pictures, for active transport, always low to high concentration. They are also using, as the picture shows, ATP, which gives us energy. Let's go over here to passive transport, where we're not using energy. See if our concentration movement. So this side of my membrane, I'm going to have a high concentration, and on this side, a low. Take a look at the arrow. It says I'm moving high to low. Well, let's look at the next picture too. This side, we'll say, has a low concentration, less molecules, and this side will have a high. Take a look at the arrow. Now I'm going from high to low. We should notice a pattern here for both types of passive transport in both pictures. I am going from high concentration to an area of a low concentration. Now on this picture, we don't see any ATP. That's because ATP is energy, and we know for passive transport, we don't have any energy helping us to get across the membrane. Let's talk more about active and passive transport. Right, here we go. So this is my mountain analogy. Okay. So right here, this is my mountain, this triangle looking thing. I have the high points of my mountain at top, and I have the low points at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, all here starting on the top. And my goal is to get it to the bottom, get it to the low side of my mountain. So to get it all the way down here, am I going to have to use any energy? No, it's just going to roll down the mountain. So this here, when I go from low to high, I'm going to say no energy. And we already know from the last slide, energy, I am talking about passive transport. So all we're doing here, guys, is confirming what we just saw in the last set of pictures. Okay, what is passive transport? Again, passive transport does not use chemical energy, and when it's And it's when molecules are moving from high to low, just down my mountain. Okay, so take a look at this picture. What's going on here? We've all had this happen if we pretend this is in a store and it's a classroom. So inside this store, we would say we have a high concentration of people, and outside the store, we have a low concentration of people. We've all seen this one kid that's trying to go against everyone. They're trying to go from the low concentration to the high concentration. For this guy to push against everyone, is it going to take energy? Of course. We know energy is also to our cells ATP. So if I had to take it a step further, what kind of transport do you think this is an analogy of? Passive or active transport? Yes, it's active because I'm going low to high and I'm using energy. Let's go ahead and go back to our mountain analogy where I have the high point at the top and I have the lows at the bottom. Now we're going to go to the opposite side. I have here a ball shown at the bottom and now I want to get it up to the top. Well, is it going to take energy? Of course. So this going from low to high is going to require energy, and that will be our active transport. What is active transport? Confirming what we've already learned, it requires chemical energy and usually a carrier protein. So let's go back over here. Okay, I'm going to highlight my lipids. Remember, this is my phospholipid. Highlight those lipids in red. These are all lipids. And I have another biomolecule in my cell membrane. Go ahead and highlight these in. These aren't lipids right here. We have to remember that these are proteins. Specifically, we call them carrier proteins because all they do is they open and close like a door or act as a channel to help carry a molecule through my cell membrane. We know active transport are the molecules that need energy, so they already need an extra boost. So they're usually also going to have a carrier protein. Lastly, we already know this part. Molecules are moving from low to high concentration or going up my mountain. That's going to take energy. Now, this last part, I said it earlier in the video. Energy in the form of ATP is required for this carrier protein to transport molecules against. So just like those people, I'm going against from a low to a high concentration of people. I'm going to need energy to do that. Well, what is energy to our cells? Let me highlight it when we see it on the picture. That is just ATP. So energy to our cells is ATP. This carrier protein is going to use that energy to help move that molecule through the membrane. I'll say it again. What is ATP? Now, it is called adenosine triphosphate. That is the primary. Primary means most or mostly the source of carrier of energy in our cells. So again, guys, all you need to get from this slide is that ATP, when you see it, is the same thing as energy to our cells. You do not need to worry about memorizing this